which are not good against 8 Mutalisks. If there's a counter for a Hellion, I would say it is any flying unit. Here comes the harassment right now. The Thor should be here. First Thor is here, and we'll see if he can do a lot of damage with the Thor here. It will force this out. My God, I need a second to breathe here. This game has been non-stop since the start.
Yeah, close call there. TLO does lose a couple of SCVs, but that's not something that's like irrecoverable. Meanwhile, DongRaeGu is using these Mutalisks for map control while he takes a third base. And I got to say, DongRaeGu plays a very straightforward style. He loves mutiling. The fact that he's thrown down a Roach Warren, it all surprises me, but the reason for this is because we're seeing mech out of TLO. You've got to go Roaches if you're going to answer mech. Meanwhile, TLO just doing a really nice job of kind of shoring up his bases. He's got a Thor in each base. These mutas are not going to be able to harass until they get to much higher numbers. In general, you need about 3 mutas per Thor if you're going to magic box and win that way.
And I also like this +1 armor attack for the little one. At the same time, there is going to be an expansion in the center left side. That's going to be our third base for our Zerg player. And you can see the transition into Roaches here. This to me is saying he needs to react to these Thors. Roaches are pretty good against Thors if you can get them in enough numbers, and pretty good against the Hellions. Here comes the push right now.
This is going to be such a scary timing. There's only a couple Roaches out for DongRaeGu. He's got 9 in production, though. So if these Roaches get out, if they get a good concave, they will do just fine. But Hellion Thor is not an easy thing to kill. I'm not sure if TLO is going to commit to this because I feel like he did see those initial Roaches popping out. This is definitely a scary timing. And like you said, Husky, TLO was a little slowed down by that Ling harass. That could be all the difference in this game.
And also in the main base, he has been doing harassment. The SCVs have made it safely, but he is going to start losing them here. The Thor is getting mass repaired. He has 0 kills right now. At the same time, though, the natural, the Zerg player is getting bombarded with lots of Thors, lots of Hellions. There's no SCVs to repair these Thors, though. The Mutalisks have been pulled back. This Thor, the hero Thor, has survived, but the little one has not put his SCVs back mining, and his income is going to be exceptionally low right here. We only have 300 minerals, so he's got to try and what does he do? The Mutalisks are flying directly into the Thors. He's got to click them directly on top, though. The Hellions slipping inside the main, but I think the Thors are going to melt away here. All the Thors dying simultaneously. The Hellions in the main trying to do some damage here, but right now, I just don't think it's going to be enough. Trying to get down the drones. They're trying to escape there, but I mean, the economy of the little one right now is not looking good.
Huge drone losses happening in the base of DongRaeGu. He's losing so many drones, all the way down to 33 drones to the 38 SCVs of TLO. So the little one has done what he needed to do to. Wow, look at that! All those drones were hiding on the gas. If TLO had known that, he would have made hay. But TLO did good damage. The problem is he lost his entire army. Anytime a Terran player loses his whole army, it takes a long time to build a Terran army, Husky.
Right.
From the time this game started to now, Terran's been producing non-stop. That was everything he had. So now he has to rebuild that.
Especially since he was going mech, it just takes forever for these Thors to be produced.
Exactly.
And the upgrades of the Zerg as well, looking pretty good. +2 attack, working on the Roach upgrades as well. And on top of that, the Mutalisk attack. So what do you feel about this Zerg unit composition versus what TLO's thrown at him so far?
Well, you know what? DongRaeGu has what he needs right now. He's got Roaches, he's got Mutas. TLO's producing Hellions and tanks and Thors. So I mean, he's going to be equipped to deal with this. The real problem that TLO has right now is he's lost all of his map control. He can't punish the third base of the Zerg players. And this is kind of what we were talking about. Zerg gets that easy third, and there's very little Terran can do about it. So right now, DongRaeGu, he's probably just going to be... Oh, no, he's actually making more mutas. I thought he'd be droning a little bit harder. He's sitting on 60 drones right now, but it looks like he just wants to put all of his income into units so that they can end the game with a big 3-base push.
And it seems like DongRaeGu there was scouting out to size up the little one, and he seems confident in that. I feel like he's going to try and find a timing here where the little one just does not have that many units.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at it, we do have 4 tanks, 2 Hellions, and a Thor chilling here. If the Zerg can catch that at a good time, he should be okay. And the Mutalisk numbers are getting fairly large. They do have the +2 attack upgrade nearly completed, and we were mentioning the little one sitting back on 2 base. Was he able to do enough damage is really going to be the question. You can see him throwing down a lot of barracks in the main base. To me, this is saying he's going to try and do one of those large attacks rather than trying to secure a third, because he's spending all of his money on attacking units. But the supply count's right now 149 to 96.
Yeah, TLO's way behind, and as we were saying, no more drones for DongRaeGu. He did throw down quite a few more, and he's droning harder now. He's still up over 60. Look at this, 9 drones in production, 8 drones in production, bailing this down as well. And here's the great thing about these mutas. They're giving all this scouting. So you're right, TLO's not expanding again. He's making a big tech switch into mass bio, and DongRaeGu sees it with his mutas, throws down the Baneling nest. He's going to be very well prepared for it. The only thing that might be bad for DongRaeGu is Baneling speed is going to be a long ways off.
Yeah, and taking out another Thor right there. The control of DongRaeGu has been phenomenal, keeping his units alive as long as need be. And I really feel like the build that the little one was going relied on doing more early damage. While he did do some mid-game damage there, I think he was hoping to slip those Hellions in right in the beginning, and now he's just not able to get the amount of units that he needs. I mean, again, it's 96 supply to 176. I feel like the little one's going to be slowly running out of steam if he's not able to secure a third base, which with the army he currently has, just taking a look at the unit staff here, that's only 1 Thor, 6 tanks, and 7 Marines. Not going to be the best unit composition against 182 supply Zerg.
Yeah, DongRaeGu has definitely catapulted himself into a commanding lead here. I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't taken a 4th base yet, and as I see it, he sends out a drone, and he's now taking a 4th base, so touche, DongRaeGu. Meanwhile, TLO is just doing what he can to stay alive, and it sucks because he can't get a 3rd base. There's just no way. He doesn't have any capacity to defend it against these mutas. I mean, Thors are great against mutas in small numbers, but once mutas get to a certain mass, Thor kind of becomes sort of bad against it.
Right, especially the amount we're seeing right now with the +2 attack. The Thors are going to have that +1 armor, but that's not going to be helpful really because there's only a couple Thors left. Here comes the attack with a lot of mutas. He's so confident that he's just going to fly in there, whittle down the Marines, and the Roaches will really be able to deal with the rest, as well as a couple of Zerglings mixed in there. So yeah. I'm almost scared to look at the unit stat here. 45 Zerglings, 21 Mutalisks, 27 Roaches. So his macro is out of control right now, morphing in. How many Banelings is that going to be? 31 Banelings being created right now. You can see how well he's macroing. His minerals are down at virtually nothing.
And as he does it, he's taking a gold base, so he's basically setting himself up to be in an unlosable position. You know what? DongRaeGu can harass with these mutas as much as he wants because the stem for TLO is just, if that tech lab gets picked off, no stem for TLO, so these mutas are going to continue to basically have a field day. There's very little TLO can do about these mutas. He knows that he has to push, but he's 50 supply down. Frankly, Husky, I think Little One might be better served to wait till max, but he's not. He's going to go for it now. No stem, a couple Thors, a bunch of siege tanks, and look at this. DongRaeGu just patiently setting up a big surround. All these Banelings, probably no Baneling speed at all, but he's just setting up this big surround. As soon as TLO pushes onto creep, we're going to see a very massive engagement with a huge Zerg force.
Right now the Roaches are taking out SCVs, so the Little One's going to have no income. Here comes a massive attack. There's so many Banelings. The Little One trying to micro as much as he can. You can remember, he does not have the stem, and these Marines are not going to be hero Marines, I don't think. They're going up against an insurmountable amount of units, and there is going to be the first GG coming from the Little One. Wow, and really quickly, what do you think went wrong there for the Little One in that game?
Well, he set up a big 2-base timing, and it just got smashed. The thing about it is DongRaeGu was able to kind of figure out what was going on. He said, TLO's going mech. I'm just going to make a bunch of Roaches, magic box these Thors, and be fine. Thor does well against Muta. Thor does well against other stuff. But anytime you mix Muta with other stuff, it becomes very difficult for Thor because Thor, he can't target ground and air at the same time, so it becomes quite hard.
Yeah, especially if the Thor starts to shoot at the Zerglings. They are so slow on that firing on those ground units. And the Little One, I still feel like he was trying to do a lot of damage with that first attack, and while he got some drones, it wasn't a devastating blow. They were still fairly even in the amount of workers they had.
Yes, sir.
And just talking to the Little One, he said he had some very creative builds. I feel like that one was an attempt at that, but our Zerg player having an extremely good reaction there. So we are going to go ahead and set up our second game. I believe we're going to take just a super quick break, and then it is going to be game number 2.